I'm Robin Hunter. I'm a knitting designer, teacher, and blogger. I've been knitting my whole life. I don't even remember learning. I started making garments for myself in my teens and then explored sewing, tailoring, and millinery. I want to teach knitters about fit and flattery and turn them into fashion stars. You can see my patterns on patternfish.com, and you can find me on Ravelry as Knitting Robin. You can read my blog at knittingrobin.blogspot.com. This video is about 3 of my favorite designs: the Prudence Crowley vest, the Evelyn Howard scarf, and the pinwheel cardigan. This is the Prudence Crowley vest. This is a design that I was really pleased with the way it worked out. I was aiming for something that would be appealing to an advanced knitter, but would also be technically simple enough for a beginner to execute. I spent a lot of time swatching this yarn. I was looking for a textured stitch that would be simple and would lay flat. Part of the goal here was that there would be no bands on any of the edges, so no pickups to fool around with. I also wanted to have a self-finishing edge on the back of the armhole. The garment itself has a classic vest back, and the front is essentially a long straight scarf with increases worked on both ends. Visually, it's very flattering on the figure due to the vertical lines of the self-striping yarn running up and down the body. On the back, they run horizontally. One of the other advantages to this design is that if you're a fuller figured woman, it's very easy to make the front a little bit bigger by simply knitting a few extra rows. This is the Evelyn Howard scarf. I wanted to create a sideways triangle scarf that would use up every bit of this hand-painted yarn I was working with. I also wanted to have lace on all 3 edges instead of the normal 2. So I created a lace, charted it, and then I flipped it so I could knit it on the edge on the opposite side, the straight edge of the triangle. I also had to chart the bottom corner and the top corner. The bottom corner turned out to be really easy to do. I knit it once and charted it as I knit, and it turned out perfect. But the top corner was really difficult, and I ended up actually knitting it and tearing it back and charting it numerous times before I got a symmetrical end corner on it. This is the pinwheel cardigan. The concept for this design was developed when I was asked to design a lace hat pattern for a local yarn shop that I worked in a few years ago. The stitch pattern itself comes from the Mary Walker Phillips Counterpanes book. I had this gorgeous fleece artist yarn in my stash, and I wanted to be able to do something really special with it. I'd always really liked Gail Rome's version of the Elizabeth Zimmerman pie shawl that was in Knitters magazine, and she'd added sleeves to it. I thought it was a great concept, and I was sure that the pinwheel stitch pattern would work just as well in the design. The pattern has been written as a standard pattern, but I've also included enough additional detail that a confident knitter could knit this cardigan with any yarn at any gauge to have their very own pinwheel. I hope this video has given you some insight into my design process in the creation of the Prudence Crowley vest, the Evelyn Howard scarf, and the pinwheel cardigan. You can read more on my blog at knittingrobin.blogspot.com. It's been fun to make the video. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching.